welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out here inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. We appreciate you being here with us where sports truly meets that thing called life. And like I said, inside of the Heritage Hill Studios, Heritage Hill coming to you on 3149 Sweet Road in Pompey, New York, out at the Heritage Hill Brew House. And that's right there on Palladino Farms. You can go out there and pet the animals, look at the incredible views, get some awesome drinks for those of you that are of age, and as always, drink responsibly. The food is absolutely fantastic. I love going out there for Sunday brunch as well. They put on a great experience at Heritage Hill, and I just like going out there and walking around with Lily. Just so welcoming to dogs, and it's just an awesome place. And they have their newest location, their expansion to the city, and that is at Heritage Hill North, 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse. It's our home of our CNS North Stars monthly broadcast on-site, on location. We were just there last week. We're going to be back at Heritage Hill North in North Syracuse, right there at Sweetheart Corner this Wednesday, August 21st at 7 p.m., kicking off the football season with the CNS North Stars football program. So we look forward to seeing you out there. So big time shout out to Heritage Hill and Heritage Hill North and Heritage Hill North with their awesome flatbread pizzas that I enjoy getting while I'm out there. So we look forward to seeing you out there all throughout the week, especially this Wednesday, August 21st at 7 p.m. to celebrate CNS North Stars football. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Coming up in hour number one, Qadry Ismail is going to be joining me here, and Qadry and I have been on the broadcast here on Wake Up Call before together. We're back again, the Syracuse and NFL alum and Super Bowl XXXV champion joins me in this special to speak on so many different topics, including Syracuse Orange football history, his thoughts on coaching, how do you have success in the world of the transfer portal and the NIL, the importance of relationships, essentially, we'll be discussing, and you'll also get his thoughts on Fran Brown, this new era, how Orange alumni for the football program are feeling welcomed back to the program again. It's been a very long time. We talked about that a lot on the show, and so much more, including his son Qadir and Qadir's opportunity in the NFL. So a lot of great stuff coming up with Qadry in hour number one. In hour number two, you know it's Tuesday, and that means Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time is what worldwide? The Bearcat time. So the Bearcat Breakroom coming to you today. Binghamton University women's soccer. I have a duo coming to you today. Brooke Herber and Alex Marsteller join me for the first time ever on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on the heels of their season and road opening victory. They started off 2024 with a 3-2 victory in our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. against George Washington University in non-conference play. They join me following that to tell their story of their connection to the world of soccer, some nice things about their head coach and coaching staff, as well as speaking highly of each other and of this culture that is at Binghamton University. A lot of success with the women's soccer program. They want to continue doing that, and you'll hear from the co-captains at the start of the second hour of today's show. And we'll round out the show as we always do on a Tuesday with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli. The topic today is when you get what you want. We'll talk about all of that coming up here in just a little bit. So with that being said, we'll take a step aside from the Heritage Hill Studios and be back with our special with Qadry Ismail. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the tastes of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com. Welcome here to a special spotlight edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, here with Qadry Ismail, and very happy to have Qadry here on the show once again. Syracuse and NFL wide receiver alum and Super Bowl champion. It's always an honor and a privilege to talk to. I call it like moving history, and what I mean by that is when you look back at a history book, you think to yourself, like, this person just kind of lasts on this page in time. And then when you get to speak with them, that moving history, the fact that they're out here creating more things to this day and doing amazing things. And it's just incredible to look at Syracuse history and some of the greats that have come from that. And Qadry being, in my opinion, in that world. So you know him as the Missile, and I appreciate having him here. Qadry, how are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you having me on, Dan.
Absolutely. So just to hop right into it, I mean, we're in a new era of Syracuse football. We're in a place right now where we are going into the first season under Fran Brown. And I'd love to get your initial thoughts here over these last few months of just how you see this program with Fran at the helm.
I think first and foremost his ability to connect to the real history of what Syracuse football is all about. And you'll say, what do you mean by the real history? Well, I think the coaches that came after Coach DeLeon, Paul Pasqualoni, those men who kind of forged what Syracuse football was all about, there was something I was missing, and that sustained excellence that I thought, was really important, kind of got lost throughout the years. And as seasons went on, as new coaches came and went, we meaning myself and other different alumni, we would, talk about just how, special of a time it was and how we missed that and how we'd love to see it get back to the standard of excellence that, we saw Syracuse become. And it really is refreshing when, Coach Brown is coming right out the bat and just saying he wants to bring it back to that level of prominence and let the Orange be, one of those top tier teams again that is steadily, talking about being in a conversation of an upper tier top 10 team.
Yeah, and when you look at that, like you said, you look back at that history and a return to excellence. I think a big piece of this, and something that has been on my mind for over a decade, and a huge conversation that I've had off the air and on the air, is the necessity of the connection to alumni. It completely baffled me that we were living in a world where Syracuse University's football program was detached in its current players and in its alumni, and that bridge was not there. That bridge was there in other places, and I was talking to coaches around the country saying, what's going on up there? Like, this doesn't make any sense. It's a recipe for disaster. Fran comes in, and in that introductory press conference, I knew that no matter what I asked him, I had to ask him about alumni, and I did that with alumni in the room and alumni watching, and I asked him, what do you want from the alumni? He said, come around. I want to see you. I want your presence. Have you felt that? We hear the words, but over these last few months, have you felt that Fran is a guy who finally is repairing that bridge and asking the alumni to come around, to be there and be a part of the team in the here and now, instead of just kind of being thrown off to the history pages?
Yeah, I think Coach Brown has done a fabulous job reconnecting, and it's so cool because, coming from Georgia, obviously you see and understand just this SEC richness of tradition, and it's great when you have different alum come around and be a part of the current crop. I think that's what was missing at Syracuse, and I think for Coach Brown to put that into place to make it be something where Syracuse is a special time, special place. I love it because I haven't had a chance to get back up, but I'm vicariously living through a lot of my former teammates because of social media, and that's so wonderful. I mean, it has been just amazing to see the so many guys that have gone back up and really shown up for Coach Brown. And I think, even for myself, I'm going to be able to make some time and be able to get back up to the Q's. And it's awesome. It's refreshing, and it has been much needed.
Yeah, and seeing that as an alum, to not understate it by any stretch of the imagination, to feel that door is back open, right? It's not locked. It's not kind of open at certain times if certain events are going on. It's not just open when it comes to a deposit or two, but that door is actually open at all times. And the fact of, like you said, living vicariously through other alumni that have been up to practices. I've seen guys up there, and I've talked to guys that have been up to numerous practices trying to make a habit of it and whatnot, noting Rob Drummond, Alvin Brown, and so on and so forth. So for you to kind of go a little bit deeper into that open door policy, that come and talk to come and be around the team. I want to know you. I want to shake hands with you. I want to see what you're all about. For you personally, Qadry, what does that do for you and your alma mater from what you've had to what you have? How much of a change does that create, and just personally what that means to you to have that open door once again?
Well, I tell you what, when it's a closed door, it's a odd and weird feeling. You get the letters of, like you said, making those donations and deposits, and then you're like, all right, but you're kind of like pushing us and telling us, you stay over here off to the side, and I don't feel that is what Coach Brown and his staff is all about. I think it is a really cool thing to have an open door policy. In today's age of college athletics, the NIL has changed the game, and you better have a strong connection with the alumni, the ability for them to come around, the standard of excellence of saying, hey, this is how we, do things, this is who we are, and that enthusiasm, that energy, it really does. It permeates throughout, the current crop of guys. There might be some little nuance that a coach doesn't know, but yet a former player can be able to share and relate with, and that could mean a difference between, beating a Florida State or Clemson, or you're sitting there and you're on the other side of the L. And so mentally, I think it really sets up a culture of, we're about supporting one another. You come to Syracuse, you're going to have an opportunity before you from an NIL standpoint, but also from a educational aspect of things, because, let's face it, guys aren't going to go to the league as much as they, going to want to and have your dreams and all that. And even if you do, you're only going to be there, for a quick blip of time. And if you are fortunate to do that, that's great. But if you're not, this is an opportunity to make those connections with the alumni. This is an opportunity to, forge what it is like for that second half of your life. And so, matter of fact, you're just hitting your stride. I say second half, even in the first half, you're still kind of just feeling it out and grooving and figuring out what life is all about. But I just think that the overall mindset is, hey, look, we're trying to establish what our culture is all about. We're trying to establish what the alumni looks like and sees like and feels like and interacts with us. And then I think that's where, that culture turns into a winning mindset.
Yeah, and when you look at that culture and that environment that we have here right now, there's new life, right? There's a new breath. There's excitement. I've talked to people in the community. It's different now in the sense of, this is my hometown. And so talking about Syracuse football over the years, now, it's a question that I get to me. It's a question that I've gotten over the years, but there's more positivity when people are talking with me about it. There's people that maybe I didn't talk to about Syracuse football or talk about Syracuse football now. So there's this like growing momentum of excitement toward it, and just this hope for the right now. I know that wins solve a lot of problems, people say, but what else, knowing what it's like to be a part of Syracuse, knowing what it's like to go through this school, what goes into it in your opinion? If you could give any thoughts to Fran Brown about this step forward. Yes, it's different now with NIL and the transfer portal and realignment, just taking away geography in a lot of cases. But if you could give any wisdom pieces to the team as it steps into this new era, the hype is there, the excitement's there, but you know what it's like to not only be a part of history at Syracuse and go through those halls and be on that field, but you also know what it's like to spend a decade in the NFL. So what wisdom can you give to the team as they go into this new era?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that it is as soon as you think you have time, you don't. So I think not taking anything for granted, period, in the discussion. Don't take your time for granted. Don't take this opportunity and think that there's just going to be more opportunities out there. From a transfer portal, NIL aspect of things, I'm appreciative that the NCAA has done this because it is a case where you'll see coaches get up and leave. Heck, Coach Mack, he was my coach for 2.5 years, rest his soul. And then, we had Paul Pasqualoni come in and take over the program. But it gives you that flexibility to go where you want to go as a player.
Yeah.
My point is that the grass isn't always green on the other side. Sometimes you need to develop and have that chance of development. So don't think that you just need to just go. And allow yourself that opportunity, that grace. So that's one thing. I think at the same time, from a pro mindset, be a pro. I mean, shoot, if you want the money, the only way you're going to have it is by being a professional, being a person that people can look at and say, hey, man, I really appreciate and respect who he is on the field as well as off the field. I don't think you don't need guys who just think that it is all about them. You need guys that think it is about us and we, and using those plurals because that's where winning comes from. That winning mindset, I think it really does. It does matter. It makes a huge difference because when it does come down to that fourth quarter and you need to either make a stop or you need to make a big play via offensively or you need to create something special teams wise, that's where your character really gets shown the most. And so I think, the way in which Syracuse has been traditionally in the past, and I think that return to excellence with Coach Brown and his staff, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it.
How does it become us and we in an NIL world where the contracts are individual, in the transfer portal where it is free agency, and the free agency is it's outrageous. I mean, you can go to 4 schools in 4 years. You never have to sit out. There's no more years in residency. In some cases between conferences, there was 2 years in residency if you went within a conference. There's none of that anymore. 4 schools in 4 years, 4 schools in 5 years, 5 schools. I mean, whatever you want to do, you have the free agency ability to be very individualistic, and you have the NIL money to be very individualistic. So you talk about creating a winning culture. How do you create a winning culture with we and us in a current collegiate model that is me?
The business of football and college athletics has always been with the letter B, $1 billion. And that money, I'm appreciative that it is able to get to the athletes. And I know for myself personally, yes, it felt good to earn, to work, to go out and do. But it also felt frustrating when you couldn't do certain things because the NCAA, I remember the one athletic director, I had like a 15-page paper, and I remember she came up to me and like I was using the one copier at the athletic facility, and she like kind of looked at me and was like, that is an NCAA violation. And I just wanted to smack the reality into her and be like, look, I got to get this paper so I can remain eligible, but I don't have the money to go over there and make copies. I don't have the opportunity. Like, I remember if I didn't have a ride home back down to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania with some of my teammates, I just was going to just stay in my dorm. Summer school session comes around, you're sitting there and you're like, all right, I got to go to a job. Well, if you got a car, great. If you don't got a car, you're hoping and praying that you're able to get down there and get to wherever you need to get to. Shout out to Edward Joy Lighting down on Erie Boulevard. But my point is that, when I look at the way things are now, it's about time. Yes, the us and we comes in when you set a standard of, hey, man, I care about your well-being. Now, ultimately, we're going to do what is the best for this program, and we're hoping that by having the best for this program is going to be the best for you. One of the things I recognize in the league, either you do or you don't. Either way, you're going to get out of there. If you can do it and you do it at a high level of excellence, okay, great, you're going to sustain. If you don't, then okay, somebody else is going to replace you. And there's that pressure that goes back on the athlete. And that's important to know. I don't have a problem with that. I think at the same time, again, when you set a good culture, when you're talking about, hey, guys, you want to go to the league? We get that. Here's an opportunity to have all the scouts around and see you practice and see you understand what it's like to be a professional. Yeah. You want to go to the league? Okay, show up for class. Show up on time, because that's what's going to be required when it comes to, getting drafted and having a professional team wanting your services. It's so much, but I think, again, those are bullet point items that need to be constantly looked at by the different folks and their responsibilities within Coach Brown's staff that's going to help set that culture so you can understand what it is and how it is to win. That's as simple as that.
Yeah, you bring up the fact of leadership. You bring up the fact of, yes, there's all these things and all of these opportunities that are available to these student athletes, and the NCAA calling themselves a nonprofit and raking in billions of dollars, on the backs of the student athletes that weren't getting anything for it. The majority of student athletes will never play professionally. So having that time period where you can earn with your name, image, and likeness, that they should have the opportunity to do that, but doing it in such a way where you're still teaching things. Do you think leadership-wise it's difficult to be a head coach now more than ever, though, collegiately, because of what it's become, because there's so many things to track, because in the past you weren't supposed to have agents on campus and people weren't supposed to have these individual contracts and different things going on, and a quarterback couldn't walk in and go, hey, with all due respect, coach, I like being here and I appreciate you recruiting me, but I just got offered $150K to jump in the portal, so unless you make it 200, I'm out. Like, where is this world of leadership? Because you talk about all these things about having this model and people on your staff being able to create this culture, but how do you get somebody to listen in a me-centric world to the we and to the culture? Because if they have the talent and they have the agent and they got the money, you could say everything you want to say, but they may not be listening, and you can't force anybody to do anything. You only have control over yourself. So in a world where leadership is important in general, and we lack leadership at very high levels in America, how does a coach establish themselves as a leader when these are teenagers? They're kids that may not have been raised right. They may not come from the best situations. And on top of that, they got a lot of people pulling at them before they even get into the school. So how do you lead in a world where leadership is not necessarily readily available and seen?
Here's the thing, Dan. You have to have what is called a relationship and understanding of who you are with your values, and you got to stick to that. Your integrity matters. Your values matter. I tell them all the time, and I'm saying it. And if you are a coach that's listening to this podcast, then the shoe fits, wear it with pride. But pretty much back in the day, into current day, coaches lie. Coaches lie all the time. Coaches are going to tell you what you want to hear, and they're going to switch it up on you. So from that aspect of things, you kind of took the power away from them. And so now those coaches, I was looking at, Texas A&M baseball, and I don't know that coach to save my life, but at the same time, he goes ahead and signs a deal with Texas. And he was all kind of offended because, someone asked him about, taking a job, or there's a rumor going around about leaving Texas A&M. And he was like, I don't know why we need to talk about that. And, he kind of did his political, maneuvering, but he winds up going to Texas. And so, they're going to use you, and the game is the game. It's going to use you. You have to be intelligent enough to use it. All those coaches that lie, that want to say one thing and do another, they're in uncharted territory now, because, okay, you go ahead and say one thing to me, and then you just, talking the talk and not really truly caring about or wanting the best for me. Then, hey, if I do have an agent, or if there is an opportunity to make money elsewhere and or play elsewhere, then bye-bye. I think that you need to have an established culture of consistency. You need to have that relationship with the young man, and know that, look, we got what's best for you here at this institution, wherever that institution is. If it's Syracuse, hallelujah, proud orange. At the same time, if it's not, it's not up for me, Qadry. I've already lived my life in that time frame, but it's up to you to do what's best for you and your family. I would hope that there are resources that Syracuse and other universities can provide the athletes and give them an understanding of what is what. But too many times I've seen it where, they say one thing and they do another. And also I think, too, from the purity of the coaching, you better be good. And I don't think that every coach in college can coach. I mean, not every coach even in the pro ranks, in the league, can coach. For sure, they cannot. But, you better give that kid some information he can use. An offensive lineman, you better help him understand his footwork and steps and all that. If you're a D lineman, you better help him understand. If you're a receiver coach, you better be more than just you just got to stay on, 4 yards off the hash and run straight. You better give them some information that they can use so they can get better in their craft. And I think that that's something from an investment standpoint will keep an athlete at your university. And that's, again, that's culture. That's not empty words. That's not empty words that I'm just saying. There's a whole mindset that goes along with establishing a winner's mentality and a culture of values and integrity.
I love that, because essentially what you're saying is no matter how much the world changes around you, if you have morals, values, integrity, goodness, if you lead with a pure heart and good intentions, that no matter how much the world changes, you could still achieve the same thing. So when people wonder, how are you successful in chaos? Consistency of who you are and why you are and what you say and what you do, and those things not contradicting each other. I mean, you really just brought it down to the brass tacks of what I love more than anything about people, and the only people I keep in my life is about people that value relationships that are who they say they are.
And that's what it comes down to. I mean, it's again, I love college football. I think it's great. I think, the winning teams, there is a different mindset compared to just showing up and thinking that everything's going to be handed to you. No, it's a collision sport. You're going to get hit in the mouth. It's going to be days where things aren't going to go easy. This isn't, some whatever the latest game is that you think you can play and on a video screen. This is the responsibility comes right back up on you. If you want that money, you got to go out there and earn that money. Put yourself in a great position. I think there's always going to be adjustments to it. There are always going to be situations that are outliers. But by and large, if you are putting yourself in a good position with a good staff, and you're recruiting good young people, I think that's where, the winning will come. If not, then so be it. You're going to be out of a job, or the university is going to be sitting there wondering why they're not a successful program.
Coming here from Qadry Ismail here with us. And Qadry, for you, your son just got an opportunity really, really incredible. And the fact of not only getting signed to an NFL team, but signed to the Baltimore Ravens, who you won a Super Bowl with, who you got to spend a lot of good quality time with in your career in the NFL. To have this moment, he's played quarterback, went over to wide receiver, was at Villanova, in the portal, went over to Samford. It's been a ride. It's been a journey. And I'd love for you to just speak on that moment and realizing that as a family and just what all of this means.
Yeah, well, I think, again, you talk about journeys and you talk about situations of consistency and coaches lying and not really saying what they mean. I think that, my family is right there in the thick of it. And I think for me, knowing all of the things that I know, from how coaches should coach, from how teams should be set up, from what players have talent and are really serious about, helping themselves in their craft, from guys who really aren't very good and, are fooling themselves and fooling their teammates. All of it, I've seen it all, and it is appalling to me that from an aspect of Villanova, the way in which, you would think coaches really want the best to happen on the field for you, and it doesn't. Then Samford, you would think again, okay, great. The system is a really strong system, but then you start to see the little chinks there that are like, that just doesn't make sense. Oh boy, that doesn't make sense. And you got to bite your tongue. I think for my family, without necessarily just going scorched earth, I am most proud of the way in which my son handled himself because of all of the trials that he went through. I think ultimately he put himself in a better place and in a better space physically and mentally that gave him still yet an opportunity to be where he's at from a Ravens and NFL standpoint. And so that's something where, the system itself, it has its flaws. And if you get caught up in it, it could be a situation where you're, musical chairs. When the music stops, you don't have a seat, you're out. I'm very thankful that there are things that I know and things that we've kind of planned out because of his mindset and his character put him in this position.
Yeah, and and I appreciate that. I'm sure Qadir does as well. But just the type of man that he is, and to sustain and go through everything that you just mentioned and some of the things that you haven't mentioned, for him to still find himself in an opportunity where he took the personal responsibility and took it upon himself to take his knowledge, his wisdom, his God-given talent, and everything that he's had up to this point, and not make excuses, not say, well, it's their fault, or I'm not here because of this, or this coach should have done this or that. The fact that Qadir today has an NFL opportunity through all of this, just what that's shown you about the level of character of your son and the drive that he has.
I mean, I am like, you want the best for your child, and then there comes those years in the early tween, into the teen, into the young man phases, young woman phases, where you know there's going to be adversity, and so you don't want to color it like, oh, it's all good. No, it ain't all good. Life is hard. Life is challenging. There are going to be situations where you're not liked. There are going to be injuries that are going to happen. There are going to be situations where you got to adapt and adjust. And the mindset is everything on how you want to handle it. And that's where I know I am extremely proud of him for the way in which he handled himself. Easily could have been a complaining, whining, and this, that, and the other thing. Not at all. Matter of fact, I know there were times where I was, ooh, boy, real heated because of just, again, I've seen it. I understand. I see what you did there, Coach. But like, I'm like, man, you didn't complain. You didn't flinch. You didn't say, oh, why is he over me and this and that, and none of it. And just steadily went to work and just showed up. One of the coolest things that I felt, so proud of is when, we're at his Villanova graduation, we're in the locker room, and, there were other parents around, and everybody was just coming up to me and just saying how, they were so proud of how Qadir has been as a young man, and he's been as a person and teammate. And I was like, wow, that's really awesome. So we go walking across campus, taking pictures, the whole 9 yards. And I sat back and I was like, wow, this is my son, and I appreciate his character, and just saw how, there were some people on the cleaning staffs, in the cafeteria staffs, yeah. The different professors, really, good, strong, wow, hey, Qadir, giving them hugs and just interacting, and, oh my gosh, we're going to miss you and all that. That doesn't happen, just because you're, scoring touchdowns and making plays. That happens when you're a good person, when you're a good human, and that energy, other people see that energy, and that's what made me so proud in the way he's been as a person and as a human.
So before I let you go here real quick, what's the NFL getting going off of that in Qadir as a human being and as an athlete? What with this next chapter of your family that we've already been spoiled with, what does this next chapter look like?
Yeah, well, obviously there's a 90-man roster for teams, and there is, because of his collegiate resume, good, bad, and different, just not as strong, but it's about him showing his versatility, which he has. It's about him showing that, this size and this strength from a physical standpoint is good. It's sound. It's solid. But I'm a damn good football player. I can make plays. He has a tremendous catch radius. He's 6'6", but he plays like he's 6'2". What I mean by that is, any coach that knows football, the biggest thing that they always say, hey, dropping your hips and playing with a good athletic feel and movement. He does that. He does that extremely well. He has just a good awareness of himself and of his game, and I love his football intelligence. That is what the league is going to give him or get from him. He's not guaranteed anything, and so be it. That's how it is in life, and I'm appreciative of the way he's been able to handle himself.
Qadry, it is always a blessing and a privilege. I can't believe how fast time goes by when I have you on here. Like I said, it's a time capsule for me because I grew up watching you and your brother and just celebrating and wanting to collect those cards and see how y'all are doing and go back to those old Syracuse programs as well. And looking back on your history, almost 10,000 yards in the NFL in a decade, 33 touchdowns. For those that need to know, we're going to let you know. But Qadry, talking about life, speaking on sports, through the world of football, we spoke about a lot of things that matter in humanity in and of itself. People like to work with people that they trust, and in those relationships that actually matter, where there's a give and take on both sides. So thank you, as always, for your time and just your wisdom and your knowledge. I really, honestly, it goes by so fast that I'm like, man, I got more things to say. So we'll have you back on soon. But Qadry, thank you for everything that you brought to the game and that you brought to life and that you brought here to Wake Up Call inside of the Heritage Hill Studios.
I appreciate it, and I'm sure we will chop it up and talk some more later down the road. Appreciate you having me on, Dan.
Absolutely. Thank you. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business. Had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees. And as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allow customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servamation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful morning and that you enjoyed that conversation with Qadry Ismail here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Qadry's such a huge part of the history of Syracuse and a huge part of the history of the NFL and everything that he did in the NFL, his longevity in the NFL, and ultimately winning a Super Bowl with his Baltimore Ravens teammates back in Super Bowl 35. So Jerry said, writing in here to the show said, locally, the family was referred to as the rocket, the missile, and the bomb, and their mother was known as the launching pad. Yes, that is very true, Jerry, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you sharing that. Yes, there are multiple, family brothers there, and so there's the rocket, the missile, and the bomb, and the mom known as the launching pad for the Ismail family. So definitely appreciate you sharing that, because that is a part. Actually, the last time that Qadry was on the show, we spoke about that. And he actually shared that. So I believe that he's the one that said that to me. And that was really cool. So I appreciate Jerry sharing that here this morning. Happy to be here with you, as always, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Coming up in just a few moments, we're going to be continuing our coverage in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Binghamton University Bearcats, and a conversation with Brooke Herber and Alex Marsteller of Binghamton Bearcats women's soccer following their season opening victory, which happened on the road at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. by a score of 3-2. Very excited to share this conversation that I have here with Brooke and Alex, and just really looking forward to you getting to know them and who they are and what they stand for. Really a heartwarming conversation, a conversation that I think we all need to see, whether you're sports fans or soccer fans or whatever that may be. Definitely a conversation that I would tell you to watch through and through from beginning to end. And I appreciate everybody that watches and listens here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, here on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com all around the world. And once the shows go live, they jump into the archives on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. The ingredients to success coming up after our conversation with the Binghamton University women's soccer program, featuring Brooke and Alex, right after this fast break from the Heritage Hill Studios. This is Wake Up Call. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they're always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill for you on 3149 Sweet Road in Pompey, New York, out in the country. And you'll also find them at Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, right by the Syracuse Hancock International Airport at Sweetheart Corner. I'm very happy to be back here with the Bearcat Breakroom. You know, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide is Bearcat Time, exclusively here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with our partnership with the Binghamton University Bearcats. And I am picture-in-picture with more from the Binghamton Bearcats women's soccer team. We had the head coach, Neil Bhattacharjee, on the show just a few weeks ago on the field together. And now I am picture-in-picture with Brooke Herber as well as Alex Marsteller of the Binghamton Bearcats women's soccer team, coming off of their first game of the season, which was the season opener for 2024 and the opener on the road for the team, and it was a victory, 3-2. So with that being said, Brooke and Alex, how are you?
Good. How are you? I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I know I said it to you all off the air, but congratulations on opening the season with a victory on the road.
Thank you.
So, Alex, I want to start with you here in that game. What was it about the resolve of the team that you were able to, in such a close match, find a way to come back, and not only come back in the match, but to do it on the road?
I think we did really well, kind of just playing together as a team. And I think even when the game was 3-2, and we kind of had a battle to keep the victory, we were all trying to do our best to make sure that we were with our game plan, playing with our game plan, and just making sure that we could hold the victory and play hard until those final minutes, and just try to play our game as much as possible.
Yeah, and you talk about playing your game. How would you define who the Bearcats are this season? What is your game, so to speak, when we're talking about Binghamton women's soccer?
I think playing as a Binghamton women's soccer player, you're a gritty player. You like to play with confidence. We blue collar play. We're playing feet. We're being creative. We're going at players. We're defending as a whole. I think our team, we have a lot of girls that all bring a lot of talent to this team, and each player uniquely brings a lot of talent. And I think as one, that's kind of our identity, and each girl brings a lot to the table for us. And I think that's kind of what carries our whole team over, and that definitely carried into yesterday's game.
And Brooke, for you, how would you define, kind of going off of that, your sense of this Bearcats women's soccer team? What would be some words that would properly define the team in your opinion?
You know, I would probably go off of what we all live by here at Binghamton. It would be like unity, our attitude, our mentality. Mainly all of our core values is what helps us get to where we want to go. And at the end of the day, we all live by those, and it gets us to the end of this season every single year. And these past 2 years, we've won the regular season title, and that's what keeps us going.
Yeah, and some people feel the pressure of that. But, there's the other side of it. There's we've won it. We know that we could do it. We know what it takes to get there. So how do you look at that in a positive sense, Brooke? You know you're going to get everyone's best game, especially in the America East. They're gunning for this team, essentially, because you've been at the top. How do you stay humble, and how do you stay focused on not just resting on last season or the season before, but knowing that this is an all-new season, and if you want to get back there, you can't just say, well, we done it before. You have to actually put the work in now again.
You know, since I've been here since my freshman year, we've known that we've had a big target on our back every year, every game. We have to battle for it. We can't go into a game thinking that we're going to win, because everyone's coming to win, and anyone can win on any given day. So as long as we all just work together, I think that's where we find our special moments, and we find our success from keeping each other humble and holding each other accountable. And I think our team has grown a strong enough connection to the point where we all understand that each and every person has a role, and if everyone does their role, then that's where we're going to find our success.
I not only love what you're talking about when it comes to this team, but how easily you're saying it, how real this is for you, because we talk about accountability and responsibility and family and working for each other, but you're saying that right off the bat here in a few minutes, like this is what we do. This is who we are. Alex, you spoke about keeping the lead when you were up 3-2 and just holding on to that. How did this team stay poised? How do you stay calm collectively, not just one or two people, but how does the whole team stay poised in a situation like that, knowing that, you have to literally grab the lead and hold on to it? How does a team stay calm in a place like that?
I think just starting from everyone on the team, we all trust each other in our abilities and support one another. And I think feeding off of that and knowing that each person on this team plays an important role and everyone has each other's backs kind of just brought us all together in that game. And we all know that everyone's capable of doing what they do on the field. And I think having girls that have more of a voice on the field to be those leaders, to bring us together and make sure we stay calm is very important. So we're not being as chaotic as kind of the game was, to kind of just calm ourselves down and know that we're in this place and this is where we belong. We are winning, and we need to just make sure we keep that lead and do what we practiced before the game and what we've been practicing all preseason. And this is where it put us in the game, and this is where we belong.
And Alex, when you're on the road, which is where you started off this season, and you're going to continue to be on the road for a little bit here, does it feel any different? You know, we talk about it from the outside looking in. When you're broadcasting, we'll say obviously home is better than being on the road, but some teams feel that, some teams don't. Some teams are looking at this saying, hey, soccer, soccer. I'm not even hearing the people that are yelling at me in this road game. So, Alex, you're a senior on this squad. Do you hear anything when you're on the road, or have you been able to almost just kind of muffle the noise out whether you're home or on the road?
I feel like as I've been older and just as my last year here, I feel like I've kind of just been able to like let the noise kind of not bother me at all, and I feel like I don't hear it as much. And I think Neil has preached since we've been here that like we protect our home turf. So I think even just being at home kind of just puts a little more pressure on us to like we want to win at home, and that's what we do at home. So I think kind of playing on the road, it gives us like a little edge that like obviously we're not at home, so we want to beat the team that's at home and like come in and show them what we have and what we've been doing all season. So I think it kind of gives us a little spark. And obviously we have a bigger spark at home when we're protecting the home turf. But I think it doesn't, I don't know if it necessarily puts us much pressure, but we definitely want to win every game, whether it's home or away.
Brooke, for you as a junior, have you been able to kind of drown out the noise and slow down kind of the game for you? Do you feel like you hear any of it anymore? Because when you're in a press box and you hear the fans, so to speak, right? They some people I'm laughing because some people desperately want to be heard. I mean, they are screaming at the top of their lungs. They're going to lose their voice. They're going to go into work the next day, and everyone's going to be like, how come you can't speak? But do you even hear it? Does it even matter when you're out there?
You know, I feel like going off of what Alex said, like being at home, it's what we protect, and being away, like you want to beat the team that has the home advantage. So I feel like as a junior, like since I'm an older classman now, I've learned to like block it out and kind of go along with what's going on in the game and like focus on that and focus on my teammates and what they're all there for and what we're all here for together. So I feel like I've just learned on my own and along with all of them that we've all grown to kind of branch out from it and keep it to all the things that we're all focused on together. So I think that's what we all build off of.
And not only winning that first game of the 2024 season, but it was against George Washington University. It was in our nation's capital. It's an election year, and before anybody's won the election, y'all won in Washington, D.C. So I think it's fair to say that Binghamton is the leader in the polls right now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So knowing that the next couple games coming up here on the schedule for the 2024 season, here speaking with Brooke and Alex of the Binghamton women's soccer team in this Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University here on Wake Up Call inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Even though the next two games are on the road, and we're going to see one of those this Thursday, August 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time at Canisius, and then on Sunday, August 25th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time against St. Bonaventure University. Albeit on the road, they're still in the state of New York, and a bunch of your games this season are going to be in the state of New York, even when they're on the road. When we look at a game against Lemoyne College out of conference, that's going to be in Syracuse, New York. Obviously, you have your games in Vestal. Later on in the season, you'll be at Albany. So just what it means to, have some of these games in the state of New York, a bunch of these games. And Brooke, I'll start with you. Does it feel like a rivalry? Do the New York games, whether they're in conference or out of conference, are they more amplified because these teams are not that far away from each other?
I'd say when we do play New York teams, our team gets very hype about it. We don't take them easy. Like when we play Syracuse, we play them every year. We play Albany every year. We've been playing Lemoyne since last year. So each of those games we take to another level. But when we get into conference, that's when everything really starts for us. And that's when everything gets 10 times more real. And we all know that those games are going to get us to where we want to be. We want to go to the tournament every single year, and that's what we strive for. And to prepare us for that, that's where the non-conference games come in. So not only are the New York games intense, but every other game counts as well.
Yeah, and looking at that non-conference, and Alex kind of going off of that, knowing that you're going to have, as I mentioned, Canisius and St. Bonaventure. You'll have Monmouth at home, out of conference, at American, out in Maryland, out of conference, Syracuse, as been mentioned here, Wagner, which will be a home game, but another New York State-based team, Lemoyne up in Syracuse, before you get into America East play. When I'm naming off these schools, a bunch of them in the state of New York and all of them in the Northeast, what are your thoughts on the non-conference schedule and just kind of what you see when you see that road into the conference games that you're going to have after?
I think our coach does a good job of preparing us for the conference, and he does a good job of scheduling teams that, like a Syracuse, like a Monmouth, like Canisius, who we played last year, who we tied with and didn't necessarily get the result that we wanted. And then Wagner, who we've been playing, Lemoyne, I think. And then obviously we haven't played American yet, so that'll be a new one for us this year. But I think it definitely prepares us for conference play when it matters the most, basically like our second season to get into the tournament, which is our ultimate goal for the season. But I think each game matters in our process to get to our bigger goals. So I think any game is not taken lightly. And I think each game is a little bit in our process, as I said before, to kind of just build when we start conference play up at Maine in September.
Yeah, and you mentioned your coach a couple times here. Alex, I'm going to start with you. Tell me something good about Neil Bhattacharjee, your head coach. What is it about him that has helped you, assisted you, something nice that you'd like to say about your coach? I'm trying to prevent you from running at the next practice, so tell me something good about Coach.
Yeah, Coach Neal's awesome. He's a very good coach. He's definitely very knowledgeable of the game, and I think his knowledge is definitely translated onto the field with how he teaches us tactical, technical, all aspects of the game. And I think that's definitely carried us, and his mentality for the game is what is driven through our core values that we came up as a team. And I think that translates us into as players both on and off the field. And I think that's what makes our team so close-knit, and we all want to play for each other and we all want to win. And I think that starts from our coach and comes down through the team, which I think is a big part of our culture. And I think towards the end of the season, culture really matters. And I feel like that's kind of where teams either advance or maybe don't necessarily because of that culture. I think he does a good job of doing that. So
great answer. I'm sure Neil's going to like it. Brooke, guess what? You have to top that. Tell me something about your head coach that sticks out to you.
I would say that Neil, one thing about him that I do love is that he's very blue-collared and he's gritty. And that's one thing that we hold as a team, and it's definitely something that all of us believe with, and that's what we go into every game doing. But he also designs all of our practices for us to work hard and get better, and every single time before we have a game, whether it's non-conference or conference, he says how hard we've been working and all the work that we've done. Like, he doesn't take it away from us. Like, he sees us working every single day to the best of our ability, and he wants us to show everyone what we've done this entire summer and what we've all done together. It wasn't just one person, it's the entire team. It's all about unity with him, which helps us connect so much more on and off the field. Along with our coach, Chris, he does a really good job keeping us connected. He checks in with people. He's a good technical coach. And Coach Taylor, she helps us a lot defensively. She used to play at Syracuse, and then she went overseas. So she also knows what she's talking about. All three of them just help our team get better every single day.
Brooke found a way to top it by mentioning all the coaches. She wants to not run. So for you, Brooke, I'm gonna keep with you on this. We're gonna keep on the tell me something good. Tell me something good about Alex.
Alex. Alex is an awesome person. She's kind. She's a great player. She's a great soccer player. She's a great person, and she's been leading the team since she was younger. She's been a starter since her freshman or sophomore year, and she's just been adding on progress every single year. She helps anyone if they have a problem on or off the field. She's someone that you would look up to no matter what you're going through, and on the field she keeps us in check, and she keeps the midfield connected. We build out with her. She's our connection every single time, and she's a good way to get out on the field.
And a lot of big words coming from Brooke there, Alex. Let's see what you got for Brooke. Tell me something good about Brooke.
Yeah, so I played one season without Brooke, but she came in and immediately stepped on the field, and it's been an honor playing with her so far. And I think her presence as a center back has been tremendous so far, and I think her vocal leadership has what's really carried us so far, even just the past 3 years she's been on the field. And I think that's something that we truly are very grateful for. And I think having her voice in the back line has been like a great thing for our defenders and even just our midfielders and forwards, because she kind of holds the back of the field together and kind of lifts everyone up. And she's also always there for everyone, supporting everyone, wants the best for everyone, and even both on and off the field, a great person, very funny, very friendly. And I think that's someone you want as a teammate. You definitely would want Brooke on your team for sure. And I think just even off the field and on the field, she's a great person to be around. And when it comes to game time, she's very much business. And I think as a center back and as a captain, she's done a tremendous job so far. And I love playing with her. So thanks, Al.
Honestly, it's like, okay, I mean, this is a recruiting video for everybody who wants to come to Binghamton. So, looking at, before we jump into rapid fire, where you guys get to put me on the hot seat, and we get to talk about a little bit of everything, music, movies, TV, whatever we want, food and whatnot. Before we go there, Alex, you're a midi, and playing in the midfield, I want to go back, kind of a two-parter here. When did you realize you love the game of soccer? Like, when did it really hit you, like, this is my thing, and I'm going to chase this thing, and I'm going to catch it? So I'd love to know when that started for you, and if you always envisioned yourself as a midfielder, or if it was kind of a road to get there.
So I grew up with an older cousin who was 4 years older than me, and she had always played soccer her entire life. She played Division III soccer at DeSales, which is near my hometown in Pennsylvania. So just growing up, I always went to all of her games, and my mom put me in soccer when I was really young. And just, I always looked up to my older cousin. She was like my hero growing up. So I think watching her succeed and her club teams over the years, and then playing in high school, she was an amazing high school soccer player, and then ended up going to play college soccer. So I think kind of just seeing how successful she was, that kind of inspired me to play soccer in college and just continue it throughout my younger years. So I think that's definitely one of the reasons. And she was an attacking center mid, and I started as an attacking center mid when I was played club when I was younger. And then when I switched clubs in high school, I actually ended up being put as a defensive center mid. So I was recruited as a defensive center mid. And I think I loved playing attacking center mid, but I think defensive center mid, although it's not necessarily as rewarding when you don't get as much assists or goals, but I think you get the gritty defensive part of it, and you get the behind the scenes stuff that I really like. And I feel like that's the type of person I am. I like to go behind the scenes and do the hard work, and I don't necessarily need the recognition. And I think kind of just being a defensive center mid and kind of controlling the tempo of the game and connecting, not necessarily like the defenders and the forwards, but kind of just being the center of the field where like we can connect the defenders, but then we can go to the attacking center mids and go to the forwards, and I can be near the goalie if I need help, and kind of just being all over the field to be as an option. But I think, yeah, my cousin definitely really inspired me, and I've kind of just ran with it since. And ever since high school, I got super serious with it, and then ended up being recruited to come here, and everything else been history. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Brooke, what's your story? What did it for you in the world of soccer? And, you speak on the defensive side and being a center back. Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, so my whole family, so I'm a family of 6, so I have 3 older siblings. And we were always a lacrosse family. So I started off with soccer and lacrosse, and then, my dad and my mom loved my brothers playing lacrosse. So I just decided, I was like, I'm going to put down the stick, and I want to go my own way, find something else that I love, and be the odd one out. So once I figured that out, it was also really time consuming to do 2 sports at once, but I knew that once I figured that out, like, soccer was the one for me, and I just went with it. So I played at Sousa in high school and I loved it. My team is what kept me going. Just the atmosphere itself, like that's where you find your best friends through soccer. That's where I found all of my best friends my entire life, and I've been friends with them forever. And yeah, and then I started going through the recruiting process, ended up committing to Binghamton, and then as a center back, and then I started my freshman year, which was a little nerve-wracking to start off right off the bat, but it was a big confidence thing for me, and I think for anyone that's in college, once you find your confidence in any position, that's where you start to roll and you start to find your momentum. But I think as a center back, you can't really have many off days. Like even anyone on the defensive side, you just can't make many mistakes because there's no one behind you. So it is a little bit more pressuring. And like what Alex said, you don't get really rewarded up front with being attached with any goals or anything like that, but you do get rewarded by all of your teammates realizing how hard you're working when you get the ball off the line or you slide tackle to block a shot, anything like that. Like all of your teammates know exactly what you're doing and you're doing it for them and you're doing it for the team. And I think that's what I really appreciate is that they recognize everything that I'm doing and it makes me closer to everyone and I appreciate everyone that realizes it.
Yeah, and I think it's fantastic too. You both tell your story here and you talk about, not necessarily getting as much reward or as much as the love, but you're both captains. Your team co-captains this season for 2024 for the Binghamton Bearcats women's soccer program as we speak with Brooke Herber and Alex Marsteller here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Brooke, to be named a captain of this team, all that work you put in, you said playing as a true freshman, going out there as a center back, little nerve-wracking, but also helped you build your confidence. Now you're a captain. Just what that means to you and how you define leadership.
I really appreciate that my coaches and my teammates believed in me enough to be the captain as a junior, and I really appreciate all of them for looking up to me like that, but I like holding the pressure of being able to have everyone look up to me as a leader or anyone needs me on or off the field. They know that they can come to me about anything. And I think it's good because I can hold people accountable whether I have that title or not. Anyone on our team can, but having the title itself, it gives me a sort of momentum knowing that they all believe in me and they trust me and that I can go along with this and anyone on the team, like we can all lead it together. And it gives me some leadership and something to look forward to every single game. Whether someone else needs something on or off the field, they know that they can come to me if they need to.
Yeah. And I mean, that's huge. To be a source of service to other people is extremely important in that leadership role. Alex, for you as a co-captain this season, just what that means to you to rise into a role in college, to become a captain and to be a leader, and just how you would define that.
Yeah, I think going along with Brooke said, like I think it's been an honor for the girls and the coaches to believe in us to be the leaders of this team and be the captains. And I think just being a freshman to now a senior and seeing all the girls that have led this team before and learning so much from them has been a great help too, and just seeing how they led the team. And I think just having Brooke also, like she's very vocal on the field and I'm more, I feel like, leading by example, and I think we both balance each other out and bring out the best in each other, and I think we're both very committed, and I think having the girls' backs, we are always supporting them, we want what's best for them, and I think just making sure that we're all respecting each other and we unite with one another, and I think just trying to make sure our culture is as good as possible will make the best success on the field, and I think we've done a good job so far of doing that and hope to continue that for the rest of the season.
Final note before we jump into rapid fire for you both. Alex, you first. You committed to Binghamton. You said yes. If you had the choice all over again, would you say yes to Binghamton?
I think so, yes. I had a really good time. I came here in an overnight my junior year with some of the girls that were, when I was a freshman, they were juniors. And I think that kind of really made me want to come here. They were super welcoming. I was with some of the other girls that are in my class now, which were very friendly. And I think they kind of showed me what being a Binghamton women's soccer player is. And I think that's kind of what ultimately made my decision so much easier. And the coaching staff was also great, and they were very interested in me. So I think that was good. And it's only 2 hours from home, and I didn't want to go too far away. So I feel like it was the perfect spot where I could go home when I wanted to, but it's also like I'm enough away from my parents, but they can come to almost every game, whether it's home or away, and they've done a good job of that, and I really appreciate all the support they've had. So I think that was a big part, being close enough to home where my parents were always able to come to the games. But the assistant coaches that are here now weren't here when I was recruited, but I've enjoyed all the assistant coaches that I've had so far. Coach Pack, and then Coach Chris and Taylor and Shawnee, who have all been here since I've been here, and everyone's taught me a lot about this, and I'm very excited and happy of the decision that I made when I was a junior, and I'm glad I stuck with it.
Yeah, hailing from Brenningsville, Pennsylvania, not too far away, like you said, a couple hours. Brooke, for you, if you had the choice all over again, would you be a Bearcat?
No doubt, I definitely would. In the recruiting process, you're not really sure where you want to go at first, but for me, it was the distance for sure, and the coaches and the team itself. Like, I'm from Smithtown, New York, on Long Island,
Yeah.
and so that's about like a 4-hour drive. So same with Alex, my parents can come to almost every home game that they're able to, and a big part of it was I loved the coaches. They were great in the recruiting process, and I felt like I could trust them, and they had confidence in me even from the start when we first started talking. And I knew Pack, she coached me. I unfortunately didn't meet Shawnee, but you can never go in just going in for the coaches because they changed when I was a sophomore and a freshman. So now we have Chris, Taylor, and Neil, but it worked out for the greater because we love them and they're great coaches, and I'm so glad that they're here. And I'm glad that I picked this school because it's a great academic school as well. So you're going to get a great degree from a great school. And our team has been doing amazing ever since we came in. We've all bonded great. We have a great connection on and off the field, so I wouldn't change anything.
I love that, and I could appreciate that, and it's good to hear because we only go around this thing called life one time. So, and I have questions. Getting to know you in this conversation, definitely have questions in rapid fire, but y'all get to put me on the hot seat first. So we are in the Bearcat Breakroom once again here every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide is Bearcat Time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. I'm here with Brooke Herber and Alex Marsteller of the Binghamton Bearcats women's soccer program. We're going into rapid fire, and Brooke, you get to ask me the first question, and it can be literally anything in the world.
Okay. What do you do with your free time?
Oh, man. With that 1 hour, I sleep. No, but I would say, what do I do in my free time? I like collecting cards. I've always been a sports card collector. I love watching movies. I love walking my dog. I love going for walks myself, listening to music. I've been singing my whole life, so I like to sing. And I really just call my friends, call my family. Every single day, pretty much, talk to my mom and my dad, and try to keep in touch with my friends, joke around, and just be very purposeful with my time. I could always be better, but I think the biggest thing for me is to appreciate my blessings, and I really live simply in the sense of like a movie, laying with my dog in bed, watching Big Brother. Just kind of hanging out and stuff like that is the stuff that means a lot to me. So,
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a Havanese. So she's
Cool.
she's a little Cuban dog. She's like 9 pounds. I'm trying to see here. I got a picture of her that I could pull up so you guys could see her. But this is Lily.
Aww. So cute.
Yeah, that's the girl. So, all right, Brooke, back to you. Something that you said that I learned a few years ago, which is you are not in Long Island. You are on Long Island, which is what you had said. I spent some time on Long Island, and recently Jones Beach, as well as I was around the Stony Brook area, found some good
Yeah.
places in North Babylon, found a good place to get some bagels and a good place to get some pizza. I have to ask you, Brooke, it's a two-parter. Where's the best place to get bagels on Long Island, and what do you get?
Oh boy. Okay, well, I live in Smithtown. I live in St. James.
Yeah.
So usually I would go to St. James Bagels if I want a fresh bagel, and then I just get it with either regular cream cheese or vegetable cream cheese. But if I am going to get a breakfast sandwich, I would go to Strathmore's in Stony Brook because they do a whole platter. So I would get like a bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel or a sausage, egg, and cheese on a bagel, maybe like an everything bagel. And then they do a whole platter with hash browns, and then like you put salt and pepper on it. It's awesome. It's the best place you can find it.
I'm forgetting the name of the place that I went to, but I know it was kind of like by itself, bland on the outside, just kind of like a white building. It was in North Babylon. I think it started with an S, but I love egg bagels, which you can't really find up at Syracuse. And then I realized something. Well, I shouldn't say I realized. I never knew. And I walked in and I go, wait a minute. There's everything. There's egg. There's egg everything. Like they had a baby. They had a kid together. So like the egg everything bagel is what I get. And I always get the honey walnut or cinnamon walnut, whatever walnut cream cheese. It's got the walnut and the raisin in it. It's my go-to all the time. It's fantastic. The bagels smell so good. Like you literally, before I eat it, I have to like smell. I have to breathe in the bagel and just remember that smell until the next time I get to go there. So, all right, Alex, what's your first question for me?
I know you're interviewing us with soccer, but do you have any other sports teams or just sports you like to watch? I'm a big Phillies fan and Eagles fan, and I grew up an Eagles sports or a Phillies sports fan, so I was curious.
Well, I think it's funny that you say that because this past weekend I was in Philadelphia. And so I was in Philly for the Fishtown Card Show. It's at Rivers Casino, and we go out there, and I use it to network, meet people, promote the show, promote what I do, and also to sell, buy, trade cards, all that good stuff. And Brett over at Fishtown's great. So I had a great time, but there was two things I wanted to do. I told my buddy Brendan, I said, these are the things I want to do. If you say no, I'm going to jump out of the car on the highway, and I'm going to go do them anyways. So I wanted to run the Rocky Steps, and I wanted to get an actual Philly cheesesteak. So I heard of a bunch of good places to go to. I'm going to ask you the question, so don't answer it yet. We went to Max's because it was on the way. That was not the one I was told to go to. There was two that were reoccurring on where to go. But running the Rocky Steps, I wanted to get it on video because it's meant a lot to me and is inspirational. So I ran up the steps. Brendan ran up the steps at the same time, and then I didn't like the video. So I went down the steps and I ran them again just so we could get it on video. So I ran them twice. But you mentioned being a Phillies fan and an Eagles fan. My teams are all over the place. I am a Diamondbacks fan for baseball. I am a Toronto Raptor fan for the NBA. I am for college football, Syracuse, my hometown. MLS, I am a Charlotte FC fan, and with the NWSL, I'm like, I want to say I'm like coming down to 3 or 4 teams, and I'm trying to narrow like who's going to be my team, because there's really just like, honestly, it's like the name and the thing that kind of brings me in. Like Charlotte FC, I love Charlotte. I love the city. I love the Queen City. We've expanded down there with Wake Up Call and Super Powered Pop, my entertainment show, to work with businesses in Charlotte or just outside of Charlotte or in the state of North Carolina. So what am I missing here? Oh, and NFL, Jacksonville, Jaguars. And yeah, so I'm kind of all over the place. NHL or the Anaheim Ducks. But my buddy is a massive Danny Tome, huge Phillies fan, the owner of the Wildcat. Awesome place here in Camillus, New York. Right by Syracuse, by the state fairgrounds, actually. And so when the Phillies and the Diamondbacks play each other, I, out of respect for him, will not wear Diamondback gear I wear it everywhere, but I'm going to tell you something, Alex. Philly's great. If you're on the other side of their teams, they are the city of brotherly hate. And I did not,
Yeah,
I did not
I'm
wear
sure.
any of my Diamondback stuff during the Fishtown card show because I wanted to sell cards. I didn't want to piss off people
Yeah.
in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, you get that one a lot. Don't wear the other team or you're gonna get some words said to you.
So you said you're a Philadelphia everything.
Mainly watch football and baseball. I'm not a huge NBA fan. I'll occasionally watch it, but mainly Phillies and Eagles are my two main teams.
Okay, so I got a two-parter for you for Philadelphia. Which team will win a championship? The next team to win a championship between the two, who will get there first, the Eagles or the Phillies? And my second part to that question is, where do I go for a cheesesteak?
Okay, so for the first question, I would say the Phillies,
Okay.
although they've been close for the last 2 years, and I think last year was extremely disappointing, especially losing to the Diamondbacks. Um, I I think the Eagles are going to be very good this year. I think also again last year was extremely disappointing towards the end of the season. And not having Jason Kelsey there is going to be very weird, but I think Cam Jurgens will step up as a center, and then they're going to get a new offensive lineman, which I think will be good. And I honestly have never gotten a cheesesteak in Philly because I'm not a huge cheesesteak person, but I think it's called Pat's, I want to say. I could be wrong, but a lot of my family members get cheesesteaks when they go to some of the games.
Okay.
I think there's another really good spot that I can't think of right now, but I don't know if you've ever had the Chicky and Pete's French fries before.
Okay. No, I have not.
They're like crab fries. There's some restaurants in Philly, and then they sell them at the venues like the Philly Stadium, the Eagles Stadium, and then I think in Wells Fargo Center. Those are really good.
Fair enough. I like it. I did get a cheesesteak. I've been told Angelo's and Ishkabibbles, the ones that are like the tourist ones, Pat and Gino's, are the two that
Oh,
kind of
Gino's,
combat
that's what I
each
was
other.
thinking of.
Yeah. So we're going to go back around one more time. Alex, you get to start this one. What's your question?
If you had to go one place across, or not in the United States, where would you go? That you haven't been.
That I haven't been. So I normally say Italy and Spain, but I'm going to change it up since it's what I normally say because I want to see my family. I would go to... Where would I go? I'd probably go to, like... I want to say like maybe Switzerland or something like that. Switzerland or like Sweden, like somewhere where maybe Switzerland because it's supposed to be peaceful. Maybe I could go skiing somewhere, just kind of get away from everything. And I would maybe try to change it up and do something like that and go off the grid. Because it's funny. It's like people are like, you own your own business and you do all this stuff on the internet and you got your phone with you and you could do so many things from your phone. But the people that know me know that I would absolutely love to leave my phone in the hotel and go skiing somewhere or go on a beach somewhere or just like get away. Just like kind of be with the people that I'm with and physically enjoy the moment and not like take shot pictures of it and this and that. Just be there with whoever's with me and snapshot those memories in my head. So that's what I would say. All right, Alex, back to you. What's one food you cannot live without? And secondly, what's one thing in a grocery store that you will never buy?
Ooh, that's a good question. I guess, I would like a food group or a specific food.
Anything. Whatever you want to do.
Okay. That's a good question. I'd say I'd probably go with strawberries.
Okay.
I'm a really big fruit girl, and I love having fruit, basically any fruit I like, other than cantaloupe, which is kind of random. But yeah, I would say any type of fruit, but I really like strawberries, and I have them almost every single day, or any type of berry.
Okay. What would you not buy?
One thing that I would not buy would either be tuna fish in a can or anchovies. And I say anchovies because my grandpa, when I was younger, would always order an anchovy pizza. My grandparents live right next to a pizza shop, and he would always order his own personal anchovy pizza, and he would be the only one that ate it. And I used to think that they were the most disgusting thing ever. So that's something I would definitely not have. And I never have tried it, and I never plan to.
It's funny you say that because as a kid, whenever someone was like, what would you never put on pizza? You would always say anchovies, but I never saw anybody actually physically put them on pizza. So your grandfather is the first person I've heard in my lifetime that actually did it in real life.
Yeah. Yeah, I never knew what they were at first. And then I actually found out what it was, and I was like, I can't believe he always did that.
Yeah, shout out to Grandpa. What's Grandpa's first name?
Richard.
So, Richard, you are a one of one, is what I will say. Brooke, what is your final question for me?
If you had one movie to watch for a straight month, what would it be?
If I had one movie, I'm a movie guy, so I love movies. And I love screenwriting too. Like, I love creating my own stuff. So if there's one I had to watch for a month, I go through like a period of time where there's a movie I will watch like on repeat. I'm trying to think of one I would watch right now in this moment. Probably because I think that him and I both have what I call running stream of consciousness, where we just say a bunch of things that you don't really think are connected, and then we find a way to connect them, and you laugh with us along the journey, and that would be Vince Vaughn. So I'd probably say Wedding Crashers.
That's a good one. That's a good choice. That movie's good. It's funny.
Yeah, that whole like first part about like the blind date and what do you do on a blind date. I definitely feel like his thoughts and I are similar. My last question for you, Brooke, is okay, there we go. So you can designate yourself with a superpower, and you can give one to Alex. What superpower do you take? What superpower do you give to Alex? And what city in the world do you choose to protect?
Oh, wow.
Oh boy. Well, I would obviously go to protect New York City.
Okay.
Superpower. I feel like Alex would love to fly. I feel like she'd love that.
Okay.
I would, yeah.
Like, I feel like it would have to be, jeez. Like, flying would be insane, but if I would, like, be able to time travel, that'd be cool.
Okay.
So, I might have to go with time travel. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
I feel like you being like invisible.
Yeah, I was thinking invisible too, but then no one can talk to me.
Well, you can go in and out of being invisible.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's good.
I like it. That's some good stuff there. Invisibility, time travel, flying, protecting New York City. Interesting picks here, and an interesting conversation about this awesome women's soccer team at Binghamton University. Folks, you got to know Brooke and Alex. You can get to know the entire team by going out and supporting them on the road and at home. They're going to be on the road for the next two at Canisius and at St. Bonnie's, as I mentioned, and you will see them in their first game back at home at Binghamton University in Vestal, New York on August 29th, a Thursday at 4 p.m. against Monmouth University. For Brooke as well as for Alex, it has been my absolute pleasure. Once again, Brooke Herber and Alex Marsteller here with me on Wake Up Call inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Ladies, thank you for your time today. Thank you for your answers. And it's been really cool to see how much you both care about each other, how genuine that is, and how much you care about the team. I would challenge anybody watching and listening to not support this team. So definitely go out there and support your Bearcats. And we know that no matter what, down the road, these two soccer players will be supporting and protecting the world with their superpowers. So do it on the field, do it off the field. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on. We loved it. We enjoyed it a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Of course, my pleasure. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the tastes of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. You will find them Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5 right off of Teal Avenue. They have a little bit of everything. I should say a lot of everything. They have basketball, baseball, football, hockey, soccer, all sport, AEW, UFC, while supplies last, Disney Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. They're the only store that I know that has every MLB, NFL, and NBA team with their own box, so you can walk in and go through it. If you're a Boston Celtic, Philadelphia Philly, Dallas Cowboy fan, you can walk in there and find cards of all of those teams right there on the back wall. They go through their collection of cards and they put together these boxes. Very time consuming. And they scour looking for which boxes to buy to bring into the store. Scour the earth. Try and find something good, something that they think would sell, something they think that the people coming in would be interested in. They put so much work in. When you walk into that store and you see all the great stuff that they have, the singles, the graded cards, the packs, the boxes, the new arrivals, the MLB, NFL, and NBA boxes, you're like, wow, there's a lot here. That's great. But the work that goes into it is so showing of the dedication of love that they have for everybody in the sports card and trading card world. GG Cards and Breaks is the difference. And you should go there to see what I mean. Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. With that being said, it's time for the Ingredients to Success to come your way. The Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's. They are now open 7 days a week. They were open Tuesday through Sunday weekly. They're now open on Mondays, so you could go 7 days a week to get their awesome flavors. This Italian restaurant that gives you fantastic pizza and fantastic Italian dishes is available right on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. It's at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road. You could get over there today, right down the street from the high school, literally within walking distance from Liverpool High School. You could see the high school if you stand right there at the light. So make sure you head out there today to Avicolli's. Let them know that DT sent you. You could say Wake Up Call sent me or DT sent me. Either one is totally fine. And I appreciate everybody going over there and supporting local. They have wonderful food, and John Fratto and the team do an incredible job of making sure that people are treated well when they come in. So, I definitely appreciate them so very much for the work that they do. And I can't thank them enough for being a part of this community and just being different. Their flavors are fantastic, and they treat people well. They care about everybody that comes through the door, and it's an honor and a privilege to work with John Fratto and the team at Avicolli. So shout out to them. This edition of the Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by Avicolli's, is focusing on the topic when you get what you want. Well, Dan, that's an easy topic. When I get what I want, I'm great, right? I got what I wanted, now I'm out of here. Peace. You know what I mean? But there's more to it. When you get what you want, what do they always say? Be careful what you ask for. Right? Be careful what you ask for. So when you get what you want, is it truly what you need? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves. Because we could get something that we want, but is it really good for us? I've gotten stuff that I've asked for before, but it wasn't necessarily the best stuff for me. And you have to take a step back in those moments and really think about it, right? What did I ask for? Okay, I got it. But what is this doing for my life? Is it good for me? I remember in relationships, there were certain things I was like, I want to have this and I want to have that. And I would find somebody that had one of those things or two of those things. But the rest of what they had was not good. So I got what I wanted, kind of, but not really. I got what I kind of wanted. And I always feel like that's a test when God's like, I'm going to give you, and let's use a relationship, for example. I'm going to give you a woman that has 5 of the 10 qualities you hope for, right? She is funny. She's supportive of your career. She has a career of her own, so that's 3. She has family values, that's 4, and she wants to have kids, that's 5, right? But she doesn't believe in God. Now, people say accept people for their differences, and I do. But just because you accept people exist in this world that are different than you doesn't mean you have to sleep next to them. And I have found in life that when I date someone who doesn't believe in God, it causes a tremendous amount of stress for me. Sometimes they leave the relationship and end up believing in God, which is beautiful. It's usually at the expense of my sanity, my health, and it takes a lot out of me to go through that. So, I'm happy to help God, and like I said before, I mean, if this is God's mission for me, was to meet these women and to help bring them to Him, then I would like to hope that we can accomplish those missions. Maybe we have. I hope so, for God's sake. And for their sake, I should not even say for God's sake. God's going to be fine, but for their sake, but it does take a lot out of you. And so I got what I wanted, kind of. And the question was it enough? No. Now, people say, well, Dan, what if you're asking for too much? What if somebody out there is asking for too much, right? And I would say, well, what are they asking for? Can you live without it, right? When you get what you want. So let's talk about what we ask for. Can you live without the stuff? Like if you were in a relationship, would you be fine without these things? And that's really the question that it comes down to. And this could be with friends, romantically, with anybody you involve yourself with. Like, what do you want in relationships? I don't like when people are selfish. I feel like, I make that comment and people are like, yeah, Dan, who does? But a lot of us hang around with selfish people. And a selfish person can only really have, I don't want to call it peace, but if a selfish person is around a selfless person or a person who's more compromising, those are the people that can usually like deal with them to a certain extent. If you have two selfish people, they're going to butt heads and go crazy. But if you have a selfish person and an unselfish person, that unselfish person will try to give until it becomes too much of a headache. And I feel like that. I feel like I've gotten there with some people in my life where it's like, this is about you, and 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 this is about you. And it just gets exhausting. And then I look back on moments where I'm like, man, I don't consider myself a selfish person. But when I had that conversation, it was all about me. I didn't even ask about them. I have to change that. So, you kind of check yourself by seeing what you don't like and then saying, well, am I doing that, right? This selfish person in my life, am I a selfish person? Like this person is a selfish person in my life. Am I a selfish person in somebody else's? And it's not enough to say something to the selfish people in your life and say like, hey, I don't really appreciate this. It's not enough to do that. You have to look to see if you're the selfish person in somebody else's life, because I've gone through that with friendships. I've been friends with really selfish people, but then I feel like I could be perceived as selfish as well because of just getting on the phone with someone and always wanting to talk about like what's going on with me and not taking a step back. So, I think it's important in life to check yourself. I have to. And I know that there could be people watching and listening that don't like me, that are like, yeah, we found something wrong with Dan. He admitted it. Blah. You know what I mean? But the reality of it all is the joke's on you. We have to admit when we're wrong. None of us is perfect. And some of us, we all make mistakes. Some of us do purposeful things. Some of us honestly make mistakes. Some of us can see what we can't stand in others, but we can't see it in ourselves. Some of us project what we're doing wrong onto somebody else so that we can yell at ourselves, but not, because if we project what we're doing wrong onto that person, we can yell about it, but we're directing it to that person as opposed to ourselves, because we don't want to hold ourselves accountable. We want to talk about it, but we don't want to address it where we talk to ourselves about it. And I actually had a roommate in college that I wrote a psychology paper on about projection. And my teacher gave me bonus credit, and it didn't even have bonus. Their bonus credit wasn't even available. And she gave me bonus credit because she's like, this was so good. And I'm like, well, thank you. It's probably good because I'm living it. And I was living it every day with this roommate, unfortunately. And eventually that roommate and I stopped being roommates. I was barely in the room the second year. And I don't have anything negative toward him. It was an awful situation at the time. it was a bad situation at the time. I mean, the guy threatened to punch me in the face because I wouldn't say hi to his girlfriend. So, I mean, it wasn't a great situation, but, you know, it was livable, I guess, like living in a shoebox with a piranha, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun experience. I spent most of the time living off campus with my girlfriend at the time because I wanted to spend time with her and I didn't want to be in my room. And I still look back at those days like my parents shouldn't have paid for room and board that year because I didn't even want to be around that roommate. But, you know, when you get what you want, right, is it truly what you want? And when you get, and in that case, so I had a roommate that Marywood had given me, and I ended up going back on, not, I shouldn't say going back on it because I was like not pushed, but they were like, this is your roommate. And when I met this other person during orientation, we decided to be roommates, and I thought I got what I wanted because they seem to have all these qualities. We seem to be really close friends. We seem like we could be best friends. And then, you know, they changed the second year. They were just different. And you have to ask yourself, when you have something that you want and it changes or it shows more of itself, do you continue to hold on to it or do you let go of it? I think that when you're in relationships, any type of relationship, and something isn't what you think it's going to be, a business partnership, a romantic relationship, a friendship, somebody in your family, when the relationship is not fruitful, when the relationship is not good, when the relationship is not positive, I think you have to, if you care enough about the relationship, you sit down and you discuss it. Yeah, Jerry, you do know him. But you need to discuss it. You need to discuss that relationship. And when you discuss that relationship, based on how that person responds, you have to make a decision of whether or not you're going to keep that relationship going, right? And you also have to look at the things that you're asking for that you want, because I have in relationships wanted certain things, and I focused so deeply on those that I didn't focus on the ones that really mattered more, you know? And you look at the shiny object, but you don't think about, like, is this object, what does this object do, right? You bring home a shiny electronic from Best Buy, but it's shiny and it looks cool. But what does it do? You paid a lot of money for it. What is its purpose? If its purpose is just to sit there, but it's really shiny and pretty, okay. But if it's maybe not as expensive and maybe it's not gold, maybe it's silver, maybe it's plastic, but it has great things that it does, then that could be a better investment for you. It's not just about the shiny object in life. And I think I have learned that, and I think we all need to. The other part of this is when we're counting our blessings, right? When you get what you want, do you count your blessings, right? Do you count your blessings? When you wake up in the morning, do you say, God, thank you for waking me up today? God, thank you for my wonderful loved ones that treat me so well. God, thank you for my dog, Lily. Thank you for my mom and dad being alive. Thank you for friends that are more like brothers and sisters than simply friends. Thank you that I get to do what I love and love what I do. Thank you that I have enough money in the bank to pay my bills and to be able to go on vacation and do things for myself. Thank you that whatever I've had to navigate through adversity-wise, I got through and I'm better because of it. Thank you for challenging me. Thank you for helping me to travel safely over this past weekend. Thank you for helping me to build relationships with people that truly value who I am and not just me valuing them, but it's a two-way street. Thank you that I found restaurants with food that I love. Thank you that my back feels better today. Thank you that I ran the Rocky steps. You know what I mean? Thank you that cancer went away in one of my friends and has stayed away. There's a lot, thank you that my friend saw another birthday last year or yesterday. There's a lot of things that we can be thankful for. And do we count our blessings? When you get what you want, it's a two-part thing, right? When you get what you want, is it truly what you need? Was the first part of the conversation. And the second part of it is, when you get what you want, do you count your blessings? Do you say thank you? Some people just hoard, right? You just get a bunch of stuff in, and once you have it, you don't want it anymore. The grass is always greener on the other side. It's not. The grass is greener where you water it. I can't take credit for that. I heard that statement a long time ago, and I keep seeing it, but it's true. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is only greener where you water it. The grass on the other side could be brown. The grass on the other side could be insect infested. The grass on the other side could be mole infested. The grass on the other side could be a fire starter because it's so dry. It's where you water it. It's where you take care of the grass that the grass is better for you and for everybody, really, in life. So what are the ingredients to success? Well, wake up in the morning and thank God for what you have. First and foremost, that you woke up. I have to do a better job of that. I do thank God for waking me up every day, but I don't do it first. I have been doing it second or third. I've been grabbing my phone, which is ridiculous and stupid. And so I need to wake up in the morning and I need to say, God, thank you for my life. Thank you for waking me up today. Thank you for waking up Lily. I pray that all my loved ones and their loved ones are awake. I pray everyone's loved ones and their loved ones are awake. We're all alive and well, and that we have a beautiful, wonderful day that's better than the best day that we've ever had before. In Jesus' most precious name. Amen. Right? We're supposed to be thankful, be grateful. So, ingredients to success. Wake up in the morning and say thank you for waking up. Simply. Thank God for waking you up. Thank God for creating you. Thank God for the things that you have in your life. When you pour that bowl of cereal, say thank you to God before you eat it. Say a little prayer before a meal, right? Some of us are going through a lot right now. Or we know somebody who's going through a lot right now. And as much as we pray that they're better and they get well, we should also be praying that we're happy that they're alive, right? Because life is not perfect. And I don't want to see anybody suffer. But would you rather go through pain and be alive, or would you rather be dead? And some people on certain days might want to say the second one. And I really hope you never get there. But if you ever have a moment where you don't want to be here, I've been there. Remember that the people on this planet only get the keys to your car if you hand it to them. They only get to drive you around and do what they want to do if you allow them to. God gave you the keys to your life. He did not give the keys to anybody else. He most certainly did not give the keys to someone who doesn't respect you and love you and care about you. So the next time you go to hand over your keys to someone who is mean and nasty and negative and hateful, think about the fact that not only did God not give that person those keys, but if God ever told someone to drive your car, which he wouldn't, he would absolutely not hand them to someone who is going to drive you off a cliff. So be conscientious, be observant. You may think you have what you want, but do you have what you need? You may think you have what you want, but it may need, at that point, you may need to check yourself on what you value in life. Because sometimes what we want, money, power, prestige, you get it, and what does it do, right? You can have all the money in the world, but money's not going to buy you love. Money will buy you a fake person. Money will buy you a lot of fake people. Money will buy you somebody that'll marry you. But that doesn't mean that he or she loves you. Power will buy you a bunch of fake friends that want to get something off of you. Prestige will make you feel like you're at the top of the mountain. But all of this stuff can't buy you love, can't give you genuine friendships, can't bring you God. None of that stuff is going to do that. So think about what you want. Think about what you're after. Think about why you're after it. That's an ingredient to success. Why are you after what you're after? Are you after a relationship because you don't feel good enough by yourself and you need someone every single day to make you feel special? Because that's not a good reason to be in a relationship. Are you looking for a significant other because you want to share in that love? You have love in your heart that you want to give that can only be given romantically, and that love is just sitting in your heart and you just feel like you don't want it to sit there and grow mold and die. You want it to grow and blossom and increase. You want to have children. If you're searching for someone because you want to truly feel that love and give that love and know that love and celebrate that love, then to me that's a good reason. If you're searching for somebody because you don't want to be alone, that's not a good reason, because you will settle. If you do not want to be alone, and that's why you're looking for a significant other, you will find a little bit of everything. And it's not going to be good for you. 9 times out of 10. So you got to look at your why. Do you want to be friends with this person because they're popular, or do you want to be friends with this person because you share values? Do you ask this person to go to a concert with you because their Instagram has a lot of followers, or do you ask this person to go to a concert with you because you love spending quality time with them? We have to think about what we want and why we want it. And when we get what we want, do we take the time to thank God? Do we take the time to thank the people that helped us get there? Do we take the time to be grateful in ourselves for the work that we have done? If we haven't done any work, then what are we going to do about that? Right? If you get what you want, but you get it by stealing it, you got what you wanted, but who do you have to thank? Are you going to thank the person you stole it from? 9 times out of 10, a burglar does not knock on the door the next day and say, hey, I'm the person that took a bunch of stuff from you, and I would like to say thank you. So, when you get what you want in your life, do you count your blessings, and do you reflect on what it is that you want and why you want it, and what your morals and values are, and if your morals and values contradict what you're going after? Because if you're going after something that is not going to enrich your life, bring you closer to God, and help you to be a better person, what is it doing? Right? I don't chase the money. I chase my dreams. Because if I chase the money, I would be in some dead-end job that I don't like. When people chase the money, a lot of them are unhappy. They might be rich, but they're unhappy. I remember being in an airport and walking by these people and thinking to myself, some people are in this airport working their tail off 357 days of the year so that they could take an 8-day vacation anywhere in the world because money's not an object to them. They have so much money. So they work 357 days in a job that they hate just to have 8 days to get away from the job that they hate. But they got a lot of money. Whereas I work 365 days of the year in a job that I absolutely love that doesn't feel like a job. And when I travel and I do work, I'm also playing. I'm also having fun. Yes, I'm working, but I love it. Yes, I'm working, but I enjoy it. Yes, I'm working, but I'm a big kid and I'm chasing my dreams and I have caught some of them and I'm after more. So I don't feel like the person who works my whole year just to get a few days to myself. I love what I do. And it's a part of my life. And it's tough to shut off because I am my company. My company is me. But I'm more than my company. My company is me, but I'm more than my company. You know, I'm the Dan Tortora that wants to take a walk with you. I'm the Dan Tortora that loves my dog Lily and loves watching shows. I'm the Dan Tortora that doesn't watch reality TV, but I love Big Brother. You know, that's who I am. And I'm not talking about myself in the third person. I'm just making a statement here. I don't like people that talk in the third person. This is what Dan thinks today. So, you know, I want to make sure I say that because I can't stand that. I'm not around people that really do that. I guess you see it in movies and TV shows and whatnot when like they're trying to paint somebody as annoying and, you know, but what are we going after? Why are we going after it? And if we catch it, what is that going to do? Right? You got to think about those things. Life is precious and life is beautiful and life is tremendously amazing, even when we think that it sucks. But it comes to counting your blessings and what you're focusing on. And to be proud and thankful, that you have legs and arms, that you can get in a car and drive, that your brain works, that your eyes work, that your ears work, that you can get in and out of the car without anybody's help. People, think about Avicolli's. The fact that I can drive through central New York, pull in, or the fact that I'm alive, can get in the car by myself, drive to Avicolli's, get out of the car by myself, walk in there and have enough money to order a slice of pizza and then get to enjoy that pizza because I have taste buds. Who thinks of that? Who's like eating food today that goes, thank God I have taste buds. Thank God that I can taste, right? People went through COVID and a lot of people lost their taste buds. Some people said that they never got them back or they were different. I hope that that's changed. And I hope that you did get them back. But there were people saying, I have no taste buds. I can't taste anything. I don't, I've lost my taste, or my taste is different now. Imagine if you could never, imagine your favorite slice of pizza from Avicolli's and imagine if you could never taste it again. If I could never taste the grandma's pie again. If I could eat it, but it had no taste. Everything tasted the same. That would suck. It's a little problem in the grand scheme of things, but it would suck, and you'd have to get used to it. So, but do we count our blessings? When have I in 38 plus years ever said, God, thank you for my taste buds? Probably never. So today, God, thank you for my taste buds while I'm thinking about it, because I am grateful for them, and I always have been. Take the time to say thank you. Focus on why you're going after what you want. And when something appears to be shiny and great, but it doesn't really have a purpose, are you willing to let go of it? Those are questions we need to answer. And I thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli, 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. Oswego Road, a.k.a. Route 57. You can go and check them out 7 days a week, and we implore you to do that at the wonderful, wonderful Avicolli's. They have indoor and outdoor seating. They also have their casual pizza side. They have their fine dining side, and you can go and check them out today. The fine pizza, the casual side, the fine dining side, the bar, and while weather permits, they also have outdoor seating at Avicolli, so go and see them today. You can also order by calling 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. And you can go to myavicollis.com for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's myavicollis.com. So make sure you do that today and let them know that DT sent you. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, thank you for watching and listening all around the world on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Worldwide, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Once the show goes live, they hop into the archives, and you can go and find Wake Up Call on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, as well as Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube, and more. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. You can also ask your Alexa or Google Home device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they will do that as well. Once again, ask them to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they will do that for you. A big time thanks to our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York. Much love to our exclusive studio partner, Heritage Hill Brewhouse and Heritage Hill North, as well as Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Avicolli's, GG Cards and Breaks, Brian's Landing, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Mother's Cupboard, Servomation Refreshments. Find out more on how you can reimagine what it's like to have vending at your school, university, place of business, and more by going to servomation.com. And also a many thanks to Great Lakes Honda City. I think I said Pizza Man, but I'll say it again. And we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins on Wednesdays during Dolphin Time, and that is Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Coming up this week, we will speak with Callum Donnelly, the head coach of the men's soccer team at Lemoyne College, and we'll be speaking with him right ahead of their first game of the season. We did that with women's soccer at Lemoyne, spoke with them on the eve of their first game, and we'll do it a week later with the men's soccer program. You can find all of our content with the Dolphins, student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni simply by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the Lemoyne playlist, and you'll also find your Dolphins on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com and Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bobcats with 2 locations. They are there on James Street in Syracuse, New York. James Street, right up the road from downtown Syracuse. You'll find them there on James Street in Syracuse. You'll also find them right off of Route 57 across the street from Avicolli's in Liverpool. So you know you'll be eating good over there. You could go to either one of their fantastic campuses, depending on what you're studying at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. And, of course, you'll find the Bobcats monthly on Wake Up Call in what we call the Bobcat Buzz. Go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the BSC Syracuse playlist. You'll also find your Bobcats on Wake Up Call DT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with the Binghamton University Bearcats. You'll find the Bearcats every single Tuesday, like today, during Bearcat time, worldwide at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, exclusively here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We have our Moments with Marshall, special with Gene Marshall, Binghamton University Athletics Director, and the Bearcat Breakroom with student athletes, coaches, and administration, as well as alumni. You'll find all of our content with Binghamton University after it comes to you Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It will head off to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will find the Binghamton playlist on our YouTube channel. You will also find the Bearcats by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to bubearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, I want to thank Inside Amon, PazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', Qadry Ismail for being a part of the broadcast, Syracuse and NFL alum, and won a Super Bowl, Super Bowl 35, as a member of the Baltimore Ravens. Want to give a big time thanks to our Bearcats, who won their first game of the 2024 season, which was on the road at George Washington. They will be on the road at Canisius, and then they will be at St. Bonnie's before they come home in just a few days. Next week, they'll be at home for their first home game of the season, which will be against Monmouth, and that's the Binghamton University women's soccer team. Big time thanks to Brooke Herber and Alex Marsteller for joining the show today. And the ingredients to success, many thanks to Avicolli's on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. Open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. As always, drink responsibly. And the ingredients to success topic today, speaking on when you get what you want. Do you appreciate your blessings, and what are you truly asking for in life is another thing to look at here. And as I said, the Binghamton team for women's soccer will have their first home game of the season coming up here after 2 more road games. So they won their season opener, which was on the road at George Washington 3-2. They will play this Thursday, August 22nd in Buffalo at Canisius. Then they will play Sunday, August 25th at St. Bonaventure in St. Bonaventure, New York, before they come home next Thursday, August 29th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for their first home game of the 2024 season against Monmouth. And while I'm on the conversation of Binghamton soccer, I want to make a note here that the men's soccer team is going to be playing their first game this Thursday of the 2024 season on the road, Thursday, August 22nd at 7 p.m. against Mount St. Mary's of Maryland in Emmitsburg, Maryland, and they will be home this Sunday, August 25th, for their first home game of the 2024 season, this Sunday at 1 p.m. against Lemoyne College. So, a lot of great stuff coming up. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you to everybody that's watching and listening, including Chuck and Jerry and everyone here. God bless. And I do want to make a note. As much as I did not have the best situation with some people that I dated or my roommate that I mentioned today, this show is not a place of personal attacks. It's not a place to knock anybody. I'm not seeking to shoot a dart at anyone who shot a dart at me. I am not that type of person. I talk about real life here. I try to break things down. Sometimes actually a lot of times, it's therapy for me. It's therapeutic for me. We laugh. We have serious conversations. I speak on things that I've gone through in my life, but I do want to make it clear without a doubt that in no way, shape, or form have I ever tried to, will try to, or am trying to now attack any single person, whether I know them or not, on this planet, those that passed away, or those to be born someday. We are not a place of personal attacks. I do not tell these stories in order to create pain or to get back at someone. I am simply having a conversation, and I am simply trying to share things. I'm simply trying to grow, to learn, to evolve, to gain knowledge and wisdom, to heal, and I want to be clear on that. So, to anybody that might be watching or listening and says, hey, I think that story's about me, or hey, I think they're talking about this person, I in no way, shape, or form seek to paint anyone in a bad light. I am simply telling my stories, but it's never in a way to make myself better than them or to make them look bad. So God bless to all of my roommates, anyone I've dated, anyone I've been friends with, my family members. As much as there's adversity and there's ups and downs in life, I love you all. I send you all prayers, and God bless you all and all of your loved ones now and always. With that being said, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. God bless.